The time is finally upon us. I know that this is an Alice in Wonderland shirt, but it says we're all mad here, and I think that that can apply to this show. Definitely. Hello, everyone. So before we get into the video really quick, I just want to clear something up about my video that blew up in the last week, how the guy who didn't like musicals changed the Starkid fandom. First of all, I really want to apologize to anybody whose feelings got hurt. I'm truly, truly sorry. To anybody who felt generalized or ostracized, that's not what I was trying to do. I said that, but I'm saying it again because I really want to get that message across. I love Starkid and all of their followers and all of their supporters, which brings me to my main point, that I'm seriously considering unlisting that video, but not for the reason that you think. People are gonna think that I unlist that video because of the hate, the negative comments, the controversy, and honestly, I'm over all of that. Like, that's all fine and good, and everybody's allowed their own opinion. But the real reason why I want to unlist it is because that video is the least reflective of who I am and what my channel is all about. If you've seen any of my other videos, you will know that I am happy, spirited, really passionate about what I talk about, and that is who I am, and that's what I want my channel to reflect. And that video honestly does not reflect that. I know that it's on me for posting that video in the first place, but yeah, that's why I am really, really considering unlisting it. If I do end up unlisting it and you still want to watch it, I'll probably link it below my other The Guy Who Didn't Like Musicals video, but that's really where I stand right now. I don't want to be known for that video because that video is not who I am, and it's not what I want people to think I am spreading on the internet. And it's accumulating a great majority of my views, so I feel like that is what a lot of people think at this point, and I didn't want that. So that's really where I stand right now. Let's get into Black Friday. And we're back. I'm about to watch Black Friday. I am so excited. I'm so ready to do this. I have been avoiding the spoilers like crazy. I am just so excited. Let's do it.
Three, two, what is tomorrow?
Let's do this. Oh my gosh. Wow. So you guys seemed to enjoy how I executed my The Guy Who Didn't Like Musicals video, me watching it and feeling all the feelings and making a video when it is still fresh in my mind, my raw reaction, if you will. So that is how I am doing Black Friday right now. I just got done watching it. Let's do it. This is also going to be similar in my The Guy Who Didn't Like Musicals reaction video, in the sense that since I am an organized person, I want to do it in an organized manner. I'm first going to talk about kind of the show as a whole, and then I'm going to talk about the characters, and then I'm going to talk about the songs. And I am so excited to talk about this. Okay, so we're first gonna talk about the show as a whole, and what I thought about the show as a whole. Oh my gosh. It was amazing. It was actually amazing. I am so blown away. I'm so impressed. I loved this show more than The Guy Who Didn't Like Musicals. I do not know how common of an emotion that is among Starkid fans, but I loved it more. Obviously, this is subjective. If you love The Guy Who Didn't Like Musicals more, totally fine. This show was amazing for so many reasons. I just could not stop smiling throughout the whole thing. This show is a lot more character-driven than The Guy Who Didn't Like Musicals, which is, I think, one of the reasons why I love it more. Because The Guy Who Didn't Like Musicals was, this thing was thrust upon all of these characters right at the very beginning, really. Like, none of them had any motivation before the meteor epidemic happened, whatever. This one, even before all of the weird things started happening with Tickle Me Wiggly, the characters had motivations. Like, Tom really wanted to make Tim happy. Lex, Ethan, and Hannah wanted to skip town, go to California. So it was more character driven, and you know me, if you've seen any of my other videos, characters and character driven plots are my jam. Like, that is what I like, and that is so huge for me. And I feel like more of the characters changed in a way, and they discovered things about them. There were more character arcs that went full circle and had like a payoff, which is something that the guy who didn't like musicals also lacked. And I said that in my video. So, since I'm talking about character-driven plots, let's get into the characters themselves. Last video, I started this section off with John and Mariah because they were new to Starkid at the time, so I feel like it's appropriate to do that this time too. First of all, I like how a lot of the new members of Starkid, they were the characters who were really important, a lot of them. I love John and I love Robert, but I like that they let other people be in the spotlight. We're gonna start with Angela, who played Lex. I really liked Lex's spunk about her. Right when she first appeared on stage in her, her like grungy outfit and her cigarette, like I already knew who her character was. Like, I knew kind of what her attitude was gonna be. And yeah, even though I knew kind of what her character's vibe was gonna be, I, obviously didn't know that Lex is a very caring character. She really cares about her sister. She wants her sister to have a good life. And her arc throughout this show is absolutely stunning. For a long time in this show, I couldn't really tell who the primary protagonist was, like who was the hero. I know like who the good guys are and who the bad guys are, but like I didn't know who the hero was. And a good like 2/3 through the show, you realize, oh, it's Lex. She's the hero. And she really stepped up and filled those shoes very well. That pep talk that she gave Tom was both funny and inspiring at the same time, which is, I guess, Starkid shows in a nutshell. Like, they're funny and inspiring at the same time. And just a little side note, Angela kind of reminds me of a brunette Amy Poehler a little bit, which is a compliment because I really like Amy Poehler. She makes a lot of the same facial expressions as her, and I just love it. Love it. On to Kendall's characters. I did not know what to expect from Kendall. I honestly didn't know that Starkid even considered minors as a part of their cast. I didn't know that. Like, my 15-year-old self would have probably fainted dead away. So Tim, who was just in the beginning, but he was an important character throughout the whole thing because he was Tom's motivation throughout the whole thing. I have two things to say about Tim. One is Lauren Lopez 2.0. They updated their girl playing a little boy actor. And two, I like that his name is Tim because this is a movie that takes place on Black Friday, which is obviously almost Christmas. And, it's a little innocent boy who is going through a tough time at Christmas time, whose name is Tim. He's Tiny Tim! He's a Tiny Tim character. So Kendall's more prominent character, Hannah, was obviously very important because it showed that kids don't really want Tickle Me Wigglies. It's like an adult thing that they're all cast under this spell. And they apparently think that their kids really want them, but then nobody really does. But I'm gonna level with you guys. I cannot be the only one who got Stranger Things 11 vibes from Hannah. Not kidding. When General McNamara was telling Lex, like, your sister has these powers, you do too. Like, retrieve this gun that I have from the upside down, or the black and white. The black and white, the upside down. You know what I mean? Like, Stranger Things much, guys? But yeah, the fact that Hannah's character, she didn't really say many words. She knew, what was dangerous, what was evil, really before anybody else did. The fact that she was vulnerable and badass at the same time, it's that all of it is just like, 11? Is that you? Okay, the next new member we're gonna talk about is Kim Whalen. I am absolutely blown away. I am blown away by her. Becky Barnes is such an incredible character. She's like the staple of you can't like prejudge others too quickly because you don't know what they've been through and you don't know what they've done. My first impression of her is obviously, oh, what a cute little bean. But then at the beginning of Act 2, you learn what she went through with Stanley. Her story about Stanley and the domestic violence, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. It didn't feel rushed. It didn't feel forced. It was executed so well. And it showed what a good actress she is. It was beautiful to watch. I mean, obviously it was tragic, but it was beautiful. The last thing I'm gonna say about Kim is that she has the most beautiful singing voice. Oh my gosh. She legitimately sounds like a Disney princess. It was amazing. I loved hearing her sing. And then there's James Tolbert. First of all, he is an insane choreographer. He's so talented. This show had such amazing choreography, and he's such an incredible dancer. And everything about him is so pretty. Like, he is so pretty. He's, like, added to my list of Starkid crushes now. He's really, really cute. But besides him looking really pretty, he also has a really pretty singing voice. Every time he sang, I was always like, wow, I really like your voice. You have a nice high voice and it's really, really pretty. And he was really funny too, and I'm gonna stop now. I just like, cause I'm just like turning red here. Okay, the last kind of new Starkid, who I guess, because this is the first Starkid show that he's been in, is Kurt Mega. And okay, I love Kurt Mega so much, and it must have totally went right over my head that he was gonna be in this show, because the first time I saw him, I was like, it's Kurt Mega! I must have forgotten. He's so talented, honestly. He's such an amazing singer, such an amazing actor. He is hilarious, he can be really dramatic. He's just all around amazing. But honestly, every time Kurt said anything, I just like cracked up. I loved seeing him as the President of the United States. I think that he portrayed that character really well. And his dynamic with General John McNamara. Okay, now we are going to get into the rest of the characters, and we are going to start off with our leading man, Tom. So when they announced this show nearly a year ago now, I was so excited when I knew that Dylan was gonna be in it. I like was bouncing off the walls because this is the first Starkid show that he's done since Twisted, and that was in 2013. 7 years! I kid you not. When Dylan first entered to meet Paul and Emma, I legit screamed. Like, audibly screamed. I think my roommate might have been, like, really concerned about me. Tom's character obviously had some really funny moments. Like, when they were watching the Santa Claus Goes to High School movie. But Dylan also understood the pain and the sorrow of this character who lost his wife, who is overwhelmed with guilt because he, thinks that it's his fault because he was the one driving the car. And just this overwhelming need to not let his son down again. It was so moving, and I loved it a lot. And can I just say, his love story with Becky Barnes was adorable. It was so cute. I was like fangirling every time they like did like a little touch of the face or holding each other. It was really, really cute. And that kiss though, I'm like getting really flustered. But again, that's okay because raw reaction. All right, we're moving on to Corey Doris, aka Frank. I would say even Frank as a secondary character, his motivation really changed throughout this show too. He started out by wanting to make so much money, so much profit off of this hot ticket item that everybody wanted. And, you know, then he just wanted to get out of the mall alive. Like another Jeff Blim song says, when the world's at stake, all your dreams, they change. But again, Corey Doris is so incredibly talented. He is such an amazing singer, actor. He is hilarious. He's dramatic. But yeah, I really liked Frank, and I was really sad when he died. Speaking of dying, next we're gonna talk about Ethan / Robert in general in this show. Again, I like that he was kind of out of the spotlight. I like, you know, letting other people shine and have their moment. You know, and even though he wasn't in the spotlight, his talent was still obviously very, very abundant in this show. Ethan's character, obviously, he has such a bad boy image, but I honestly love that he's very, very sweet. I love that scene with Hannah, and again, I was really, really sad when he died. Also, one of the things that Ethan said that I noticed and kind of surprised me was when he was taking Hannah into the movie theater or whatever, and he said something about like on a leash like my dog and cousin Oliver. And I was kind of a little bit surprised by that because I didn't know if that was supposed to be a Brady Bunch / television reference. Because for those of you who don't know what cousin Oliver syndrome is, when a TV show has what you call cousin Oliver syndrome, it's when the show brings in a little kid or a baby to be one of its new characters. This phrase was originally coined from the show The Brady Bunch, which was a sitcom from the 1970s, which I happen to really love, and it's very near and dear to my heart, that show is. But that phrase was originally coined from that show because at the end of the series, they brought in the family's cousin Oliver, who was a younger kid, and the show was promptly canceled shortly after they brought him in as a new character. I don't know if what Robert said was a reference to that or not, or if I'm reading into something way too much, but if it was, I love it and I laughed. Also, Robert playing Teenage Santa is just so iconic. Joey was so hot in this show. I mean, he's hot in like every show, but like this show was first of all, he was a great show opener. Him as Uncle Wiley, like turning to the camera like, ha! I wasn't expecting that, but I loved it. That character kind of was like a Bandit King 2.0, I gotta say. He had a similar voice, like a similar kind of husky, raspy voice, and obviously that character was very villainous and really hot. But Joey's amazing in this show, in every show that he's in. He is truly the Prince of Starkid, along with Joe Walker. Jamie. I said this in my The Guy Who Didn't Like Musicals reaction video, but Jamie is an amazing character actress. Sherman was hilarious. I just cracked up every time he was on stage or he said anything. And the things that he said about ponies, can I just say, what a mood. I loved toy ponies when I was a child, and I still do to this day, no shame. I related to that a lot. I don't know how many people did, but I did. So Jamie was amazing as usual, and again, she's an incredible character actress, but she's also an incredible lead actress, and I feel like she hasn't been a lead in a few years. And I kind of miss that, because Jamie is queen. All right, 3 more. John Madison. Again, I loved him so much, and his talent was still very abundant and very, very clear, even though he wasn't in the spotlight this time. It was really cool to see him branch out and play some new characters and have some new voices and some new accents. He's hilarious. I honestly loved all of his characters, and it really showed his versatility as an actor to see him, play some different people, which I loved. And of course, I also loved that Paul and Emma were still in the show. It started with them, and I wouldn't have had it any other way. Jeff Blim, the king. When General McNamara came out for the first time, I legit screamed. I'm not kidding. And again, I hope that my roommate was not concerned for me. But that was just a general thing. Every single time General McNamara was came on or made his entrance, I just clapped, let's go, yes, yes. I love General John McNamara so much, and I love Jeff Blim so much. He is an incredible comedic actor. He is beyond immensely talented. He has an incredible singing voice. I cannot say enough positive things about Jeff Blim, but when he had to stay in the black and white, I was really sad because I was like, no, General John McNamara. I love Jeff Blim so much, so much. He just is so good at the kind of character he plays. And of course, I had to bring down the house with Linda Monroe. She is like every other Lauren Lopez character, so beyond iconic. I said this about Professor Hitchens' last video. She will for sure go down in history as one of Starkid's most iconic characters. She's amazing. The minute she came in from the back, I knew that I was going to love her. The fact that there even is a female Starkid villain is a little bit against the status quo for Starkid, and I loved it so much. Let alone that villain being played by the great Lauren Lopez. And can I just say, I love how much of a transformation Lauren had to play Linda Monroe. Lauren has really never played a character like that before. Usually with Lauren's characters, a lot of them identify somewhat with each other. She obviously has her naive, innocent little boy characters. She has Emma and Zazalil, who are both kinda spunky and against the status quo. But Linda Monroe is totally different from really any other character that she's played. And I loved it. She kind of gave me vibes from one of my favorite Disney villains of all time, and that is really saying something for me because I love Disney villains, but she gave me really, really strong Yzma vibes from Emperor's New Groove. I know that Yzma and Linda's voices are really different, but they're both super flamboyant, super eccentric, and even the fact that Linda was talking on the phone with Gerald the whole time, I thought a couple of times, legitimately, is Gerald her Kronk? I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, just like I said, Professor Hitchens gave me Niles Crane vibes, and I knew immediately that I was gonna love that character. I'm saying that now about Linda Monroe giving me Yzma vibes. And me thinking right off the bat, I'm gonna love this character. And I absolutely did. Okay, now we are moving on to the songs. Again, this isn't gonna be a total in-depth analysis of the songs because I've only heard them each once, and I watched the show today. This is a raw reaction video. You know that. These songs are some of Jeff Blim's best work. I loved so many of these songs, so much more than the guy who didn't like musical songs. And not to, downgrade the guy who didn't like musical songs, because they're great too, but these songs were on a whole nother level for me. Like, every song that came up just was knocking it out of the park. It was like twisted. So let's take a look at them. The Tickle Me Wiggly jingle. This was unlike any opening that Starkid has ever done, and I honestly loved it. It was insanely catchy and so much fun, and I gotta say, having a commercial for the Tickle Me Wiggly, like having that commercial jingle as the opening number, was such a smart way to start the show. It was a stroke of brilliance. What Tim Wants. Dylan, I missed you. I love this song, you guys. This is gonna be one of those songs where I just find myself singing to myself, or like in the shower or something. It's such a beautiful song, and it, you know, introduces where Tom's priorities are as a character early on in the show, and that's important. California MIA. That kiss though. This song was great. I was jamming out, and again, it really illustrates these characters' motivations and their goals in the show. And I loved Hannah's like smoke dancing in the back. That was really, really funny. What Do You Say? This song is my jam. Oh my gosh. The entire time this song was playing, I was like dancing and laughing and smiling like an idiot. It was so much fun. And I love how it established Tom and Becky's relationship. Our doors are open. I seriously love any time that Corey is the central focus of a number, and that was this number for him, so I obviously really enjoyed this song, watching it and listening to it. Feast or Famine. Oh my gosh. This song got me so pumped. It was so amazing. You know when you're watching a musical number and you're so absorbed in it that you don't even remember breathing? That was this song for me. And just a little note, at one point during this number, there was a moment where somebody snatched a Tickle Me Wiggly doll from Linda, and she was like this, she was like, and I, for that split second, saw Draco Malfoy saying, "Am I bleeding?" That was a great moment. Monsters and Men. I honestly loved this whole song and the entire scene preceding it. Jeff Blim is a god, and everybody who was a part of this number primarily was so talented, and they had so much on-stage chemistry, and they really fed off of each other really, really well in both this song and the scene. And when everyone came together at the end, like, mwah, chef's kiss. Deck the Halls. Hello catchy, hello choreography. Great Act 2 attention grabber. Take Me Back. Finally, another Starkid love song. It was so beautiful, and Dylan and Kim's voices sound amazing on their own and together. It was a beautiful moment. It was amazing. Adore Me. Lauren is so iconic. So iconic. I can't really even put it into words at this point. You know. Made in America. Wow. This song is wild, and I'm just gonna say, I already said this, but when General McNamara entered, I was like, yep, let's go. Woo! And Joey, it was really his song. He's so talented and hot and has such great stage presence. I love Joey so much. Black Friday. Angela is a really, really good actress, and it's really shown through this song and the monologue following it. I love it. And I love how it's like kind of in her own head, you know, as Sherman is like trying to kill her. If I Fail You. This song is so beautiful. Besides seeing the shift and the realization of Tom, the song itself sounds really Disney-esque. Like, if I fail you one more time. I'm sorry, I'm not a singer, but I obviously love that because I'm a diehard Disney fan. Also, seeing Dylan sing from the heart, there's really nothing like it. Wiggle. Lauren Lopez is Beyond Iconic Part 2. Also, I love the application of Carol of the Bells, because Carol of the Bells, if composed correctly, can sound very creepy, scary, and intense. And they used that to their advantage. And What If Tomorrow Comes? This song was amazing. It was a great finale, but I honestly was more absorbed in, oh my gosh, look, it's all the guy who didn't like musicals characters. Look, there's Ted, there's Mr. Davidson, there's Charlotte, there's Bill. Like, I was way more absorbed in that than the actual song. I don't know. But the song itself was great. It was a great finale, a great way to end the show. This show ended a little similarly to how The Guy Who Didn't Like Musicals did, with the viewer on the edge of their seat, and quite abruptly, but this ending did feel more satisfying than The Guy Who Didn't Like Musicals, just because everybody was reunited and the villain was overthrown. I thought it was really, really funny when Linda was shot in the head. There was one of them said, "The Prophet!" That was really, really funny to me. And then John Madison, like, took out his phone and, like, was, like, talking to Gerald. I did say in that video, I did like the way that The Guy Who Didn't Like Musicals ended, and I like the way that this one ended too. I think that this ending gave the audience enough satisfaction, while at the same time not being your typical musical ending where everything is tied up in a big bow and everything's perfect and everybody gets what they want, all the loose ends are tied up. Because not every story has to end that way. I honestly thought that it was a really, really good balance, the ending of this show. It had enough payoff for the audience to feel satisfied, like, okay, these characters have achieved their goals, they made it out of the mall, you know, the villain was overthrown, while still kind of leaving them wondering, well, what's gonna happen now? Now, a couple of my subscribers have reached out to me and were really curious to hear my opinions on Black Friday, and they were kind of worried that I wasn't gonna like it because of the things that I said in my The Guy Who Didn't Like Musicals reaction video. They said that they don't know how I'm gonna feel about this show. This is how I feel about it. I love it. It's amazing. The other Starkid shows still have a way more nostalgic factor for me, but this show, I'm not gonna lie, is one of my new favorites. It's not my very favorite. My favorites will probably always be the Harry Potter musical series and Twisted, but this one is up there. So many things were executed so well. The characters had motivations, everybody kind of had their own story. Even the secondary characters you really love, at least I did. It was just all around an amazing, wonderful work of art. Here are some miscellaneous thoughts that I thought throughout seeing this show. When Joey's character said, "Hello, naughty list," to Lex, I was like, it's Henry McDoon! All the applause kind of sounded like it was on, like, the Wii Family Game Night game, like, on Wii Life. Legit, yeah! Woo, woo, woo! Like, that's what it sounded like, and that's exactly what, like, applause on the Wii sounds like. It's like really, really funny to me. I cannot be the only one who now really wants to watch the movie Santa Claus is Going to High School. The black and white is just like the upside down from Stranger Things. And Hannah is like 11. It's Charlotte! Oh wait, no, there's Ted, there's Bill! All the Guy Who Didn't Like Musicals characters are back! Also forgot to mention, when Emma brought up Professor Higgins, I screamed too. Alright. I gotta go download this soundtrack now because a lot of these songs are also a lot of my new favorite Starkid songs. Now that I've seen Black Friday, I also got a request to rank all of the Starkid shows, and yes, that video is in the works. I am planning on doing that video relatively soon, so stay tuned for that video as well. What I want to know from you in the comment section down below is obviously What did you think of Black Friday? Did you think it was better than the guy who didn't like musicals? Did you think it was worse? Do you think that we shouldn't pin them against each other just because they both take place in Hatchetfield? They're both amazing shows, but I like Black Friday better. That's just me. It's my opinion. So let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Comment your opinions on Black Friday. Comment your favorite Starkid show if you want. You could comment your favorite character or song from Black Friday. Anything to do with Black Friday. Comment it down below. But thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for your continued support and interaction on my channel. Thank you so much and have a la-di-da-da day. Bye.